Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Center for Creativity. Whether you're with us in the room or watching on the live stream, we are so happy you're spending your Saturday morning with us. We have a big group and a vibrant group today, and I am so excited for you. This is going to be an awesome workshop. I Can't Draw with Urban Sketchers. But before I introduce our presenter, I want to thank all the folks from Urban Sketchers who are here helping today. If you can wave, yes. And I believe Connie will be introducing them by name later. Of course, I want to thank Ethan, my daughter Estelle, and David in the back. Thank you for your work today. So before we begin, just a couple things. One, we have a new program coming up. You may have heard about it if you've attended a previous I Can't workshop. It's called Write to Heal, and this is a poetry and writing workshop with the woman that you see on that video in the back. She's also a licensed therapist. Now, I think a lot of people hear writing workshop and think, I don't know, it sounds kind of boring. She is high energy, she comes highly recommended, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. Like everything we do, it's free and open to the public. It's coming up Monday, October 20th at 5:30, and we have flyers at that check-in table if you want to grab one on the way out. And she is being sponsored, her visit here, by the TCC Foundation as part of our Please Touch the Art programming. So we're really grateful to them for helping make the exhibit and Janetta Price's workshop possible. Who here has heard of Tulsa Achieves? Most of you. Okay, there's a few hands that didn't raise. So I will go ahead and tell you, Tulsa Achieves is 2 years of free college for every single student that graduates high school in Tulsa County. That's homeschool, private school, public school, and you only have to have, I think it's a 2.5 GPA. People always want to know, what's the catch? This sounds too good to be true. It isn't. It's a national model for free college education. So students can come, get 2 years, completely debt-free. They can go right out into the community and start working as an RN or many other associate's degrees, or they can transfer to a four-year school and go all the way through if that's what they want to do. Despite all of our very best efforts and hard work, there's still a lot of young people in this community who don't know about this. So if you have young people in your life who need to know about Tulsa Achieves, please pick up some postcards on your way out. All right, restrooms right here, water fountain, bottle filler right out there in the foyer where you came in. We hope after this workshop you'll stick around for I Can't Make a Seed Bomb with Tulsa Garden Center. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna get our hands a little dirty. Next week, last weekend of the I Can't workshops, it's Bollywood dance, which is gonna be super fun, and I Can't Play with Inspiral Circus, and that is going to be like getting adults and kids loosened up and ready to play. So that is more than enough from me. I'm so excited about Urban Sketchers. They've been an amazing partner for the Center for Creativity. You might have seen their exhibit last month. Connie is the founder of, Connie McFarland is the founder of Urban Sketchers, and she's an architect. So let's give her a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. So I'm the founder of the Tulsa chapter of Urban Sketchers. We were made an official chapter. 2021, we were chapter 425. There are 550 around the world. So this morning, you're participating to learn to draw, and what we're going to try to do is show you the #1 question that we get asked every time during sketching by someone who's kind of new with a pen, pencil, pad, and that is, how do I draw a perspective? So we're headed down the hill to try to learn to draw a one-point perspective. Don't be afraid. You heard out there, we got Lisa, Sarah, Carol, Dave, Rebecca. Did I miss anybody? Jack. Jack is, yeah. Those guys are roaming because seriously, when we get down to the actual drawing part, you've got your pencil and your ruler and let them help you. Because I'm going to ask them to come up and help me, more than likely. So I'm an architect. I'm not that kind of architect. I have never done all of these radical things that people do, like these drawings, these perspective drawings. What I do, this is my first drawing, 2002. I got a little sketch pad, the exact same size as your little sketch pad at the Oklahoma City Museum of Art. My son had just graduated high school in May. I was lost. Here I am with this empty sketch pad, and I go to Boston to take a quick class, and I'm sitting at a restaurant, and there's the sketch pad in my purse, and I said, you know what, I'm going to draw this wine flight. By the way, it's pretty good wine flight. And then I drew the salt and pepper shaker, and I thought, you know, you got to start somewhere, right? That's page 1 of my sketchbook from 2002. And then I went on and realized that on vacations, I'm really not into hiking and biking, but I go with the group and I find a nice spot and I sit and I draw the community. On the left is San Gimignano, Tuscany. It's about a 2-hour sketch. They were certainly off hiking and they kept coming back and I kept saying, not done, leave me alone. It was the best trip ever. Of interest, though, I point out, down there in the lower portion of that sketch, there were people, it was a market day, and I kind of stayed away from the people because people are hard to draw. You can't do that. If you're an urban sketcher, you don't have a community if you don't have people in your community. So we always try to get as many people in as we can. And this other sketch, now that one is 2005, the one on the right is 2009. That one's from Scotland. Same thing with just a couple of friends. But I said, please go through the castle, leave me here. I know that sounds really like I missed the vacation, but it's probably my best time, my hour and a half watching what's going on in that area. And the observation skills and what you learn about that community is really almost better than standing in line and seeing whatever everybody else saw. So I'm an advocate for taking the time to be with you, your pencil, your paper, and getting to know the community in that way. This interesting, about this same time, 2009, is when the official Urban Sketchers became a corporation out in Seattle, a not-for-profit. So they've been doing this, but I was kind of doing my own little parallel path. In 2015, I went to an Urban Sketchers West Coast crawl, and there was 100 people there from Vancouver, British Columbia, all the way down to San Diego. And I just loved it because there we were, talking to each other, not really while we're drawing, but asking each other questions as we were going. And that's when it hit me that drawing in a group is probably more fulfilling than that. Now, I'm not saying at Urban Sketchers we don't talk to each other all the way through our drawing time, but it is nice to have someone close by. Like I always have to borrow Greg Stone's red paint. I don't have the right red, right? So it's nice to have a community that you're drawing with, and that's what we're about. But today what we're going to do, as I said, is when we're sitting in those groups, often what we do is the newest group, the newest member will say, can you help me? I think my perspective is off. And I'll tell you, I say that about 1 every 10 sketches myself, because particularly 2-point perspectives are kind of hard. So don't worry, we're not going to do 2 points today, but I'm going to teach you just real quickly the difference between a 1 point and a 2 point. So as you're drawing, maybe you can see where you're going along, whether you're drawing a 1 point or a 2 point. So here's a 1 point. So a 1 point perspective, oh, wait, time out. Those of you online, you guys need to be getting a white piece of paper, just get one out of your printer, a pencil, 2H that you got, you know, kids take to school is great, 4H, an H, a 3B, whatever. Grab a pencil, piece of white paper, and a straight edge of some variety. I'm asking you to do that now because when we start the exercise, I don't want you to lose the first part of our drawing together. And this is kind of a dual learning experience for those of you here in the room and those of you online. And also, as we go along, I'm going to be telling you, you might want to do a screenshot of some of the images that are coming up. Because of the process of projecting what we're doing, it's going to be kind of difficult for you to be keeping up with what's going on here in person. So a 1 point perspective, it gives equal exposures to both sides of the dimension. See down below, let's say that subject is that piece down there in the very center. A 1 point focuses on that one subject, and it's equal on both sides. Now, of interest, it doesn't have to be centered, and as a matter of fact, being asymmetrical is kind of helpful, like in that exhibit B, because you can, maybe let's say the east side of the street has more interesting buildings on it than the west side. You don't have to be straight centered to do a 1 point, but you do have a central focus subject. And it's simple, it's easy to understand. That's what we're going to work on today is a 1 point. Now I'm going to tell you, composition really matters. Let's begin to talk a little bit about horizon lines. Horizon lines is where your eye is when you're shooting into this, and it goes along. It's a drawing that's going to start every drawing, and then the vanishing point is this. In this situation, it's this building right in the middle, wherever the horizon line hits the vanishing point. 2 point's a little different. 2 point means I'm going to walk around the edge just a little bit. It goes beyond just looking at the front dimension, which, by the way, we would call an elevation, spread elevation as architects. So it involves the side and the back. So it means I moved around a little bit. Now I'm seeing the side of the building in addition to the front of the building. And the subject is still the building. But what happens with this is you have two vanishing points, not just one in the middle. You're going to have two, one on each side. And that's a little complicated, but the point is it really does complicate the drawing, but it also fulfills the drawing. And once you make it through, I find that most of my drawings are still 1 point, because I think that's just, but those other two drawings I showed you were that, because that's where I focus on that subject so much. But as it goes, I would say it's very important to realize that if you get to a 2 point, which we won't today, we can always, maybe at the end we'll have time to come back and look at this slide. But right now what we're going to focus on is a 1. But a 2 point has two vanishing points. Often they're not always on the page that you're drawing on. So that's another reason why we're not going to get to 2 point perspectives today. I want to say one thing about beginning. Begin as if you have a camera, you're shooting with your iPhone, and you're taking a picture in your brain. We do it with our iPhones of what we're going to draw in the very beginning. So you can put together your drawing visually before you actually start putting lead down. Very, very important. I have a personal mission to draw the 21 Catholic missions that go from San Diego to Sonoma in California. I've got 10 or 12 drawn. Almost every time I can't get the cross on top of the mission. And you know why? I didn't get the composition correct. I didn't get the box. I mean, simply draw a simple line. So I actually draw it on the paper, around the paper, to say this is the edge of my drawing, so you don't run out of room. So you can begin with composing everything and getting it all on the right page. Now don't feel bad. I actually brought, I'll show you when I get over the other camera, I brought a couple of copies of my sketches with a little tiny cross on top that didn't quite make it because my composition was off. But really seriously, this is hard. What we're going to do today is not simple, although the kids that are here are going to be able to draw too. They'll be able to do the same kind of drawing that we're going to do. And okay, so I didn't say this. I'm from Western Oklahoma, and I talk really fast. Am I going too fast? Great. I love that. I hate it when everybody goes, I think so, because I've got go slow all over all my notes. But can you tell I'm kind of excited about this? You know, I've only been doing this for we've only been an Urban Sketchers group for 6 years as an organized group here in Tulsa. But it's about the best thing I ever do on a Saturday morning is get together with other sketchers and draw the community. So here we go. These are Jack's drawings. Jack is back there with the camera. So this is an example if you were to step out of the building out that door and look straight down the street there to see the BOK. That is a 1 point drawing. See the horizon line going right down the middle, vanishing point right in the middle, and the guidelines are what you're going to draw with your ruler, right? That's all the things that you're going to be picking up. Now, a lot of times, those are so light, you just hardly can see them. Certainly you don't want to erase. You want to erase them if you can as the drawing builds. But that's a very simple example of a guideline. Now, the 2 point perspective, Jack's got both vanishing points on this drawing. We're not going to do that today, but I'm just wanting to make sure you know there's two types. And the 2 point has the same horizon line, but it has vanishing points on each end. So you're getting, that's how you're allowed to turn, to look on the side of the building instead of just the front. Simple illustration. So those of you online, you might want to get a screenshot of this slide because you're not going to be able to see the handouts that we're going to be handing out. So this is our first handout. This is a 1 point perspective. You know, we only have like 25 minutes left. And we're going to do 2 drawings. So let's get cooking on number 1, which is I'm going to call, anybody ever driven from Las Vegas to St. George, Utah? This is what that road looks like, right? So we're going to go on that road, and Rebecca's going to help me get over here to this camera, which, by the way, has fallen down. Interesting. Am I going to worry about this? No. Yes? Okay, hang on, maybe it's this one. Are we up? Yeah, it kind of went wonky, didn't it? Thank you for that. So this is a screenshot. Did you all get a screenshot of that? Of the road 2. Okay. So what you need, here we go. Now I'm going to tell you all, just because of the shape of this pad, we're going to turn our books to what you would call landscape, not portrait, because you're going to need it to get your horizon line belt. I've been practicing, can you tell? I have to tell you, I said earlier, oh, I wish I could do this on a bigger piece of paper with my real pencils, because I'm trying to do exactly what you're doing, and truthfully, I don't use many of these. I don't use these anymore, because I use freehand drawing more than I do straight edge drawing. But it's essential for us to learn with this so we get our vanishing point. So let's get our drawing oriented correctly. Now let's take a minute, and in our brain, let's do that. Where's the boundary of this drawing? Let's actually draw, if you want to, I'm going to draw a freehand line around the outside of my drawing. And I'm going to say, I am going to stay in this boundary no matter how big the cross is. By the way, here's one of my missions without a cross. Isn't that funny? See the little tiny cross? It was 3 times that big. Oh, by the way, you have to be able to laugh at your work, too, if you're going to do this. But here we go. Here's the drawing. My sketchers are ready to look over your shoulders. We're going to draw a horizon line. Now, let me say, it doesn't need to be centered. Just kind of needs to be wherever you want it to be. I'm going to kind of keep it centered, maybe a little bit on the low side, because I want to have room for mountains, right? You have a handout in front of you, so you know what I mean by the mountains. Here we go. Let's draw our line. Okay. Now, we're going to pick our vanishing point. I'm not going to pick it directly in the middle. Remember, it's going to be kind of boring if it's a symmetrical, equal thing. So I'm going to kind of pull mine off to the right just a little bit, but I'm going to actually draw a dot there. So draw a dot, a little bit, wherever you want it. Be left, right, but it has to be on. What does it have to be on? Thank you, the horizon line. Now what we're going to do is we're going to try to visualize a road, okay? Remember, we're driving from Vegas to St. George. So let's kind of draw a road, and by that I mean get your little straight edge and get your pencil, and let's kind of draw, oh goodness, here we go. I got a funny shadow on mine. Let's start by drawing that. Okay, that's the road. It's the edges of the road, okay? Keeping up? Yes. Okay, so now, let's go ahead and put the center line of the road, just because we're here right now. We kind of got to pick the center line by looking at the end of this. It's from there to there. So I'm thinking the center's going to be somewhere around in there. So there's the center line of the road. I'm going to go ahead and draw like it's a highway. I love to watch those people paint those lines down the middle of the road, don't you? That's good. Okay. Now, how about we draw the mountains back behind, just to get a little bit going on top. Now, the mountains, they're high, right? I mean, Zion's up there right ahead of us. So we're going to go ahead and kind of sketch in, just freehand sketch in, some mountains, some valleys, some mountains beyond. Just kind of get it going a little bit so you can see. And as a matter of fact, we got a lot of drawing over here on the left, so we can go ahead and draw a big mountain over there. Heck, what's going on over there? Another mountain's coming out. So that gives us some background. Now, the reason why we're going to do that is now we're going to get some telephone poles in there, because they haven't gotten underground electric in that part of the world yet. So take your ruler and create a straight edge. Now, keep in mind, the top of a telephone pole is probably going to be a little taller than the side of your eye. So down there on the vanishing point, it's going to be a little bit taller. It's going to be a little bit out of bounds on both sides. So there's what we just drew was where we're going to start building poles from the bottom up. And we're always going to draw the closest first, and we're going to draw it smaller, smaller, smaller. Also keep in mind, we got to draw the top of the pole. We're not just going to draw the bottom of the pole. We got to get them all shrinking together. So now we're going to draw the top of the pole. First, I think I would like to, just because I can't, notice how I'm going to use the edge of my ruler to draw a straight 90 up, which is much like an old-fashioned T-square. Okay? Now, I still have a T-square, those of you. By the way, I've practiced architecture for 50 years, so I have a lot of really ancient equipment if anybody is interested. And I don't know how tall to draw that yet because I'm going to have to draw the top of the poles. See in the sketch down below, we've kind of moved on into the electric poles. So I'm going to kind of say the top of the pole is going to be up here. There's one line. Yeah, and he's coming out this way. Whoops, that's probably too high. This way. No, I think that's good. Still come out of the vanishing point. That one is going to go that way. Hang on. There we go. This way. I think it needs to be more like that. Okay. So here's the top of the pole. I'm going to draw it again just like that. And just like that. And here we go. Straight edge up. Straight edge up. Now, the next pole, remember, it's going to get smaller. But the top of it's going to be in the same line as the one in the front, and the bottom is going to be in the same line. So we're going to go back a little bit. Here's the pole. Boy, it's kind of hard with this little tiny thing. Isn't it hard, you guys? I find it hard to draw with these little tiny things. Oh, somebody should tell me I got the pole on the edge of the road. Oh, the road people are going to hate me for that. All right, they're going to come and make me take that pole down probably, but I'm not going to take it down. I'm going to leave it there like this for a little bit. Okay, there's the second pole. Now, running between the poles is electrical lines, so we can now draw an electric line or 2 or 3 or 4, real light, so it kind of goes in there together. Let's draw one more pole. And keep in mind, it's got to be in the line of the top and the line of the side. So it's going to be shorter, closer together, because they're getting farther away from us, so they're getting closer together. How's it going out there? Team, everybody, yeah? Say again. Oh, okay. I'm going to go slow. Remember I said I go fast. My team's going to walk around and see. This is hard. But you're getting the point? Getting the vanishing point? There's the vanishing point, and there's the poles going down the road. You got your image in front of you. You can see they just kind of keep going and going. Keeping an eye on my clock. Okay. Now, I need to see some thumbs up from my team if you think we should go to example 2. No rush. No rush. Sarah, Dave. Give him a minute. Well, I'm going to keep drawing poles then. More poles. Again, I kind of like using the edge of the paper to keep my line straight. Truthfully, I don't use straight edge much anymore when I draw, but you sure can when you got them. And more poles. We're almost to St. George. By the way, you know you can't buy wine in St. George except at the very special liquor stores. I'm sorry. Irrelevant information. I will tell you, the best place in the world to spend Thanksgiving is in Zion National Park. Okay. Here we go. Not really, but I think it's close enough. Everybody working? Composition, did everybody it fit in? Everything fit? Everybody good? Ooh, good. There we go. So that's pretty elementary, my dear. You ready to flip the page? Now we're going to draw a room. A room. I just turn this over and get clean paper, and we're going to draw a room. You can draw your room at home if you wanted to when you get home. Yeah, but what you do to start out now, somebody tell me, what is the first thing we're going to want to do before we draw too much on this? What? Well, maybe we ought to figure out how much we're going to draw. We're going to draw the boundary on the paper that we're going to try to stay in. Again, I'm going to show you another one of my failures. See this one? Look how little, you just got to think ahead. This was Santa Barbara, one of my missions, but really bad copy of it. But see how I always run out of room. So let's start by giving ourselves a boundary, a real thin boundary around the edge of this that we're going to try to draw. So the next image is on the back side. Flip your hand out. Flip your hand out over. Handout's over. Here's what it looks like, and I guess I can do this for the people online. We're going to start by drawing a rectangle. Now again, keep in mind where that's going to be in your boundary of your paper. So draw a rectangle. You choose how big it is, and you choose where to put it. I'm going to just kind of go to the left side this time, and I'm just going to draw a rectangle. Using again this. Rectangle. Rectangle. I'm going to make it a little bigger. And this is. Now remember those other images? This is if you were standing in your room at your home and you're looking at the wall in your room in your home. So there's the rectangle. Now, I'm going to go ahead and draw, a horizon line on this one. Yep. It kind of wants to be in the center. We could do that, but I'm not going to. Let's just draw a horizon line right down the middle. And I'm going to pick a vanishing point in the middle. And now I'm going to come out the four corners. 1, 2, this is longer the better on this. 2, 3, and 4. Now, are y'all doing okay with these little tiny pencils and papers? It would have been great if we'd had 3 times the size, I think. Carol. Oh, you got it. Yeah, give me the high sign. I'm so busy drawing, I'm not projecting. Carol, thank you. Top-notch help, always. Carol, we actually did a trial run of this, and it's scary. But now, that's the room, right? That is the room. That's the beginning of the room. Now, we got the vanishing point connected in the middle, little tiny dot. Now, let's try to draw a window in one of the walls. Like, let's go ahead and just do a replication of the example. Let's pick a point to draw a window in the wall. There's a window. There's the top of the wall. This is hard. I'm used to paying attention to the paper, not the camera, but there's the bottom of the wall. Ooh, wow, I got a picture window going, don't I? There's another window. Oh, my goodness. I really like using this straight edge to keep it straight and clear. Then I'm going to draw the window frame because I always have frames around them. Frames. All right. Well, thank you, Rebecca. My team has been instructed to tell me if I'm going too fast. All right. Stop a minute. I'm not going to draw any more windows. Oh, Carol's telling me. Carol, give me the high sign if I mess up. Need to give you like a flag, like at the football game. Looks like I've got something. You stopped me mid-finishing point. I'm going to go ahead and finish my window. No, I'm going to finish my window just because I need to. So go beyond the vision. How's it going? How's it going? You getting it? Once you run it up here, I want to see what you got on your paper. You're too close, and you're also too cute. Very good. So, let's see. Where's your vanishing point on that? Do you have a vanishing point dotted? Just dot it. You don't have, you just didn't highlight it. Good work. Okay, can I keep drawing? I'm going to go ahead and put some dividers in the windows. Is that all right if I start putting in true divided light picture window there? Okay? It's a good little exercise. I'm going to go 1, 2. Always put one point on the vanishing point and the other point straight. I don't like the fact that that's on that horizon. I'm going to fudge a little bit. Okay. Andersen windows. Here we go. For your home. True divided lights. Tell me when you all are ready to draw a table. Hey, that's an enthusiastic crowd. Boy, I got a big old window, huh? 10 minutes. Everybody getting it? It's not that hard, is it? See? Got to visualize the center. Get the horizon. Get a vanishing point. Table's going to be a little harder in your image. Show it to the people online. Going to add a rug. We could add a rug to the floor. Would you rather do that than a table? You want to do a rug or a table? Table. That's my kind of crowd. Swing for the fence. All right, we're going to try to draw a table. All right. Let's go. So if we're going to draw a table, we're going to have to figure out the top of the table or the bottom of the table, whichever we want. But let's start by starting on the bottom of the table. Everybody going to the table, or are we waiting? Sarah, how are they doing? Are they ready for table? Not yet. Tell me when. Might have to settle for a rug. There's 50 people. We got different skills, different directions. You ready for the table? All right, so let's draw the legs of the table, and I'm using, notice if you would, using my straight edge across the bottom of my paper, much like you would a T-square. Let's go ahead and draw the legs of the table, which are going to be parallel with the boundary of what you're trying to draw. And then we're going to draw the top of the table. And, you know, we could do the similar thing. We can use the side to get that straight. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to try to get the table having some really long legs so I don't get on top of the base of the wall. That's just, I'm doing that for simplicity so we don't get our lines too confusing. So there's what I would call the front planes of the table. And I'm going to draw the legs up, and the legs up. It's going to be a very tall table. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my vanishing point to try, well, I'm actually going to draw a thickness in there for the top of the table, so it's not, you know, it's got to have something that when people sit on it, it won't fall apart, right? So here's the top of the table. Now I'm going to do a vanishing point back for the top, and another vanishing point back for the top, right? And then I'm going to draw the back. Okay, now, you know that's where the legs are going to come down back there, right? I made it pretty narrow, could have made it wider, but let's put the legs down back there. Another vanishing point. On another line, it's going to be confusing. And this guy's going to come back here. Draw the table, draw the table. There we go. There's a leg. There's the other leg, oops. I'm going to go ahead and name it a little darker. Truth is, I'll have sides. Every leg's kind of square. Emphasizing this. Again, this is a kind of a trick where you use really light guidelines and then you can come back. What I usually do is I would draw really light guidelines and then I would use one of my pens to ink in. So once I get it the right size and shape, these are great little pigment pens. Today we're not going to pens, we're going to stick with pencils, but legs. Oh yeah, they've got another kind of a line down here. Straight across. Is anybody ready for the flower? You already got the flower on top? Because we're out of time. Yeah, we're out of time. We better hurry and get the flower on top. There we go. Oh, I love that modern vase. We had a little bit of color. Where's Greg with his red paint? I always initial my drawings and put a date. 10/4/25. Too much? Did we do too much? To the end? Is that? Yeah, got to go. Oh, I think we got 5 minutes to. Yes, what? What? Oh, okay. Yeah. So Jack's telling me for those of you who want to can go back and start erasing your construction lines. You know those what we would call guidelines. You can erase those out because you put them in real little pencil. And I'm going to invite you all to keep drawing. Rebecca, can you get my slides up? Because we have another group coming in, so I'm on my last 4 minutes, and I just want to take a minute while you're drawing to... oh, wait a minute. I had Rebecca? I messed up. What a surprise. But that you didn't have. Okay. So, everyone, keep drawing. But let me tell you, you're all invited to Urban Sketchers. Everything we do is pretty much free. You bring your own supplies. The founder of Urban Sketchers is Gabby Campanario from Seattle. Here's his quote. As hobbies go, Urban Sketchers gives you a lot of bang for your buck. Nothing more than a piece of paper and a pen and a pencil. And you're equipped to start drawing your city or your village and the people who live there and the things that happen in it. As an urban sketcher, we draw our drawings, we share our drawings in what's called a throwdown, and then we go home and post our images on Facebook or Instagram to share our community with the world. The other 533 chapters all around the world. I have friends in South Korea, United Kingdom, France, Germany. It's all about drawing your communities and sharing that community through this process called Urban Sketchers. Go to Facebook if you want to learn more about Big Urban Sketchers, which is what I call the mothership. Go to urbansketchers.org and get signed up for their newsletter. It comes out every month. And it's been our joy to share with you at one point. Yes, you have a question? Facebook page. It'll tell you the next one. Okay, did you sign up back there? I'll email you. Yeah, then you'll get it. Anybody who signed up, Carol's back there by the sign up, email her to that. The dates are kind of fluid, so and I didn't bring them, but the point is if you go to Facebook and look at that, you'll see what we're doing next. And we do have another group coming behind us with the seed bomb, and they may bomb us if we don't quit, so. 2, okay. Well, now, are there any questions other than that? I mean, did we bite off too big a bite? Did you get it? Got a good chew point? Here's some of our example sketches. Oh, yeah. Rebecca's going to, here, Rebecca, use that mic. This is Lisa's analysis that we received.
Okay, so Lisa stepped outside of this building that we're in currently, and this is a shot looking south.
Yep.
Down the building, down the street. So then she placed on there the vanishing point. I know that it may be hard to see, but it's this little blue dot back here. And then from that point, she drew the horizon line and then connected all of the faces of the building with your guidelines. You can see the red lines, and they all take back to that vanishing point. So that's when you step outside of the building, you can see all of those points, all of the sides of the buildings going back to a vanishing point.
And also notice you picked the other side of the street. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go on and show the
No,
drawing now.
that is the drawing.
No, that's the photograph.
That is the drawing.
Isn't that a photograph?
That's a photograph with the lines on it,
Yeah,
showing
okay.
it. Yep.
Yeah, no, but did you load the drawings on also?
I didn't have drawings.
Did sketches of it all.
You had sketches of it? I did not see that. I am so sorry.
She had
So-
sketched it all up beautifully. Maybe we can get that posted on Facebook. Post it
Yeah,
on Facebook.
so we can post it. Okay, thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. It was great fun for us.
Get out of your way.
Urban Sketchers is providing these supplies for you to take home. So a huge thank you to Urban Sketchers for the supplies, for the wonderful workshop today. As Connie said, all of their events are pretty much free, so join the group. It's going to be really fun. Please stick around for the next workshop. We're going to be getting our hands a little dirty. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we are going to turn the room over real quick. Restrooms right there. Thank you.